Hit the little got it button. Otherwise,
What's that?
There you go. That button,
Yeah.
because otherwise it's gonna annoy the hell out of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, I want to go. I can't wait.
I'm excited to see how that I mean, on paper, a lot of these teams look really good, man. They look really, really good.
Yeah, they do. I want to see how each team stacks up against each other and
Yeah.
how they play against each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think during the pool play and stuff, we'll see a lot of guys just getting work in because, that's their time to get their work in.
Mm-hmm.
But like once pool play ends, I could just see it's just top dogs. Whoever's hitting is going.
Yeah.
Um, did you see any of the Dominican League?
So I don't watch it like that, no, but I love watching the highlights, bro. The
Yeah.
highlights are awesome. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? How
So
they all get up in this top step and come out cheering like it's the World Series every single game. I love it.
yeah. So I didn't watch all of it. I watched a little bit of it, but there was that dude that the Red Sox just signed from the Padres, that catcher.
Mm-hmm.
He hit that ball, dude, and I thought he hit that ball like it looked like he hit it like 500 fucking feet. And
And
then he ended up being the fucking Dominican Winter League MVP too.
for real,
Yeah.
are you talking about the guy that thought he hit a home run, but it was really like a fly ball? Is that the same guy,
No.
or am I confusing the Dominican? No, I think I'm confusing the Dominican League with AAA or AA ball, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's I remember
Maybe.
watching that, and that was hilarious.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll find out what his name is real quick. Where? Did I ever see it here? Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, Alfaro, Jorge Alfaro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that.
he hit that ball, dude, and it looked like it went a mile.
He crushed it.
Yeah, yeah, but he ended up being the Dominican Winter League MVP. He had he had 50 total bases in the playoffs.
That's nuts.
That's insane, dude.
That's
Just
crazy.
teeing off on fools. Yeah,
But
that's crazy.
getting, I think getting the chance to watch the World Baseball Classics live, I think that's just going to be dope. I think that, and then also doing it for everybody on here, and if we're able to talk to a couple people, I think that would be extra dope.
Oh yeah, just wear press badges, man. Let's wear press badges, walk around. See who comes and talks to us.
I'll make a little badge that says "I am the dish."
Yeah, yeah,
Write the dish backwards on the little piece of paper.
yeah. That'd be super funny, man. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I mean, it'd be cool to like at least interview one person. I don't even care if it's just like the towel boy. Be like, hey man, what's what's the feel in the dugout?
Yeah. What do you feel over there? What's
Yeah,
going on? How's the manager feeling?
yeah. What are you feeling down in your plums?
Oh man.
Fucking ask the question. I'll ask the question. Be like, how many games do you think Trout plays this year? Just getting the nitty gritty.
It'd be exciting, man. Just being out there and just doing a live, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
We get to interact with other baseball fans, and those honestly, those are real baseball fans because the World Baseball Classics
Yep.
you don't go to if you're not a real baseball fan.
Right. No, those are like true fanatics, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's not some everyday run of the mill. Hey, tickets are cheap at Coors Field, so we're gonna go watch the Rockies play or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Where tickets are cheap, we're gonna go watch the Diamondbacks because it's Wednesday night and we don't care.
exactly. Exactly.
Side note, real quick, I want to touch on. Have you been watching any hockey, man? I know I got you a little bit into it towards the end of last season.
So, yes and no. So, I've watched, which was the last game I watched just lately? Oh, the Capitals. The Capitals
Mm-hmm.
losing to who did they play recently? Damn, I don't even remember, to be honest with you. But yes, I have.
Mm-hmm.
But not as often as I would like. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? But yeah, I
yeah,
definitely want to watch some more hockey. I want to go to a hockey game more than
yeah,
anything.
yeah. You need to go because it's a whole new environment. Being there and watching it, like it's fun to watch on TV, but
Hmm.
like being there and watching it is even better.
Hmm. I bet
Uh,
because it's just so fast paced, and you
yeah.
just got to keep up and stuff. I bet it's really fun to watch like live.
Well, people hit the shit out of each other. You
And
know.
you banging on the boards. I think that'll be the
Yeah,
best. Like sitting right there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So all right, we gave people a moment. I mean, there's not many people on here, but whatever. We're gonna get it rolling. You guys
yeah.
hop in. You guys hop in. Welcome again, guys. Good evening, good morning, depending on where you're at too. If you join us out, west. But what's going on, everybody? We're back after a little hiatus. I was on vacation, New Year's, Christmas, and all that. But baseball is close enough to be back to where we decided to do a show, and not only baseball being back, but the whole Correa fiasco.
Yes.
First and foremost, Kyle, how you doing, bro?
Hey, man. Glad to see you're back from vacation. Everything's good on this end, man. I mean, weather's getting a little bit chilly down here, but it's not nothing I'm not used to either. But man, can't wait. We got baseball coming back soon. Got World Baseball Classic coming up. That's huge. You already know. If y'all been following us since last season, I've been hyped about this since the end of last season. I'm ready for it. And the Dominican League, we were just talking about it, just ended, and that was a crazy finish too. What about you, Jorge? What's up, man?
Good, bro. Good, good, good. Happy to do another show, talk baseball, of course. And more than anything, man, while I was on vacation, I was reading up on this whole Correa fiasco, and that within itself was nuts. But let's dig right into it, man. Um, Carlos Correa basically had a three-team, 865 million saga
30
within,
years, 30
yeah,
years.
30 years within a span of like a month, which is crazy. And to be honest, I was talking a lot of shit about the Giants not, go falling through with their contract, and it winds up being that the Mets wind up doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get started at the beginning of the timeline because I put a timeline together as far as what happened with Correa. So as
Yep.
we all know, after the World Series, he opted out of his contract, which he had 2 years, 70.2 million left with the Twins.
Right.
That was on November 7th. Then on almost a month later, December 13th, with the Giants, he agrees to a 13-year, 350 million contract
Yep.
pending a physical, which, as well, any other contract before this, it was more so just verbiage pending physical because a free agent just goes ahead and gets a physical done. It's signed. It's a done deal.
Yep.
But a week later, we hear the Giants are concerned about an injury, and it's not even um, his back. It was winded up being his repaired ankle, which he had injured in AAA. Um, so that was put on hold. And then the very next day, the Mets and Correa go ahead and enter a 12-year, 350 million contract or agreement pending a physical. And well, that's where things kind of start getting a little dicey because just like the Giants beforehand, the Mets go ahead and say, oh, well, we have the same kind of worries about his ankle. But that wasn't until 3 days later, the 24th. Now, in between the 1st and the 24th, the Giants were still in contact with Correa. Correa was still in contact with the Twins. Correa was in agreement with the Mets, and we were all going like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah.
So, Kyle, touch on that a little bit, and then I'll go down the rest of the timeline, man.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Mets use one of the same doctors that the San Francisco Giants used?
Yes.
And that's like what kind of kept prolonging the process. I'm thinking to myself over here, like if you already know he had went to this one doctor and the one doctor was like, this isn't good, why would you keep using that same doctor? Unless there's an agreement amongst the MLPA that they have to use a certain set of doctors. I don't know, right? I don't know all the semantics to that. So, and then also I think I want to say there was a rumor that the Rockies were also involved, but I don't know how true that was or how much traction it was gaining. Maybe somebody was trying to speak it into existence, like through Twitter or something, MySpace or whatever. But he still had 2 opt-out years with the Twins. Mm-hmm. 2 opt-out years with the Twins, or 1 opt-out year with the Twins after this coming season if he wanted to do that. And then, the Giant, everyone is still in contact with him, but I think Boris is his agent, I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Boris is just like, why are we not doing this? Why am I signing a contract with the Twins? I'm like, well, that's because you're an asshole and everyone knows you want that guaranteed money because that's your guaranteed money too. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you have to protect your product, and your product is the positional player that makes your roster and puts asses in the seats. I don't think Correa really wanted to chase money and he wanted an opportunity to win, but I think he really likes Minnesota because why would you go back to the team that you pretty much, I don't want to say badmouth, but at the end of last season, he said, if a team really wants me, or what did he say? If I go into a store because I want something, I'm going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of a shot at the Twins. Mm-hmm. And for it to come full circle back to the Twins is very surprising for me. But I think he truly does like it there. But I'm very surprised with Bichette's situation in Toronto that he didn't go there. But that's just me personally. I just think Bichette's he's a great hitter, but he's not a great infielder. And I think they would have made that possible to move him there. But that's a whole nother story. But he's got a guaranteed spot in Minnesota. He's got a guaranteed spot in the lineup in Minnesota every single day. He doesn't have to switch a position. I think, is he upset that he's not on the Mets or the Giants? I think the answer is yes. But I think it's going to be more stable and more guaranteed for him to be in Minnesota.
So at the end of the day, with the statement that Correa said, it kind of worked to the Twins' favor of everything that happened. So this is where I say, in life, you can't burn your bridges because you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. And in this instance, Correa almost did burn that bridge. I mean, obviously, it was a comment he said to the media, and, the players or whatever it is always have comments to say if they're not getting paid out or what they think they're worth, or what they think they're coming into when they're a free agent. I'm not talking and I'm not looking into his pocket. What I'm saying is what he said did come to fruition for the Twins and it worked out in their favor. And then also, I'm sure Correa is kind of feeling like, damn, I said that and now I'm back to where I was and making less money.
Yeah.
And by less money, I mean he agreed to 350 mil from the Giants for 13 years, and he wound up agreeing to a 6-year, $200 million contract with the Twins. So he still got his money, but is more so based on his appearances now at the plate. And
Yeah.
we're gonna go into that when I get down the line as far as the timeline. So let me
Right.
keep going on the timeline. So, like I
Yeah.
said, the 21st, the Mets and Correa agreed to a 12-year, $350 million contract. That same day, the Giants came out and said, "Hey, we have a difference of an opinion over Correa's medical. Everything came out okay, but the Giants doctors were like, no, this is something we got to look into as far as the ankle." And that next day, right after that, it came out that they were worried about his ankle. And Scott Boras publicly came out and said, there's no issue. Why is everybody making this a big issue? He was on the Twins last year. The Twins didn't see an issue. So why is it an issue now? And that's when the Mets came back on the 24th, the day before Christmas Eve, and said, we have the same kind of issues.
Yep.
And in between the holidays, which was the 24th to the New Year, we saw, reports and stuff that the Mets got with MLB, the MLBPA, the Players Association, and wanted verbiage put into the contract. I don't know if it was based off of plate appearances, health, or whatnot, but I'm sure it was one of those type of contracts they wanted to make to where it was not fully guaranteed and based off of the player's health, based off of the players' games, based off of the players, based off of the players' appearances and whatnot. And of course, Storms joins us at the correct time to where he's able to put the Mets had a 10.5 game lead. So did the Giants, by the way. The Giants had a 20.5 game lead and blew it. So let's not fail to mention the Giants on that. But
well, congratulations, y'all suck less.
Thank you. So the verbiage was trying to be put in there into that contract. I don't know exactly what it is they wanted to put in the contract, but at the end of the day, the Mets didn't see it fit for them to sign a player that's going to be playing third base for the next 10 years, which is what they agreed to, or 12 years, 315 million, having an ankle issue. So, Storms, I'm going to let you touch on it now, since I let Kyle touch on that, is give your thoughts as far as what happened with the Giants, what happened with the Mets, and then all three of us will talk about what happened with Twins. So go ahead and touch on what happened.
Well, I think the Giants and Farhan in particular have got to be feeling pretty vindicated right about now, because people were shitting all over that organization for how that whole thing was handled, and for letting the Mets swoop in less than 24 hours and take Correa away from them. And for a few days, everyone in the media, all the fans were talking about how bad Farhan messed that up. And then lo and behold, the Mets run into the same issues. So, I mean, and yeah, I mean, it still wasn't handled great. I don't know how you could wait a week to get a physical on a free agent of that kind of stature, like that. It was handled poorly to begin with, but I don't know. I'm really not all that surprised that he wound up back with the Twins.
No, you called that after it happened with the Giants too.
Yeah, man. I mean, they never said they were out to begin with. And then the other thing too is I couldn't imagine then, and I still can't imagine that that either of those physicals for San Francisco or New York turned up anything different than the Mets team doctors have already seen. Right. And
familiarity.
and even with that, they were willing to give him a $10,295, 10-year, $295 million contract. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Obviously, they had to step up the AAV to take him away from the Mets when it was all said and done, and go to a level where Cohen just wasn't a level of risk Cohen wasn't willing to match. But they got it done, and I think that was something that was absolutely pivotal for that team from day one, because they're going to challenge for the division now every year while he's there. And if they would not have brought him back, it would have taken a hell of a lot more than, one or even two guys probably to make up for that loss, because by that time, all the other marquee names were gone. So losing Correa at that point probably would have, compared to where they are right now, that would have set the Mets back, or the Twins back 2 or 3 years.
Yep. So we said this about another free agent, but Correa was more important to the Twins than the Twins was to Correa, basically.
Yep.
So now let's keep going in this saga, and we're going to keep going with the dates. So on the 26th, there's 3 teams in contact with Correa. There's the Mets, the Twins, and still San Francisco. And like you said, there was a dark horse, Colorado. There was a lot of rumors about Colorado swooping in and probably offering him a contract. Like you said, I don't know how serious that was, or somebody just trying to make some noise.
I'm so glad they're not going to waste his career. I'm sorry, Rockies, but damn, man.
We got Ham in the comments saying that Correa's going to wind up with the Knicks when it's all said and done.
Give me the next Kevin Durant, dude.
Yeah, right. So then we have on January 3rd, Correa posting a picture on Instagram with his son wearing the I Love New York t-shirt. You know what I mean? Of course, players and social media and whatnot, people get excited and blow it out of proportion. I think that's just something, whatever. He had a shirt on, it didn't mean much. So then on January 6th, the Mets and Correa sat down, and there was, I guess they couldn't agree on verbiage in the contract. And, what ended up happening is the deal basically fell apart. Then the Twins swooped back in. And on the 10th, he winded up signing with that contract, 6 years, $200 million, and which includes an additional 4 years vesting options based on playtime thresholds. So the total value of the contract can be $270 million over 10 years. So he signed 6 years, $200 million contract, but it can be $270 over 10 years. And I'm going to get into that in a second. So that was January 10th. And the Twins didn't take a week to get the physical done. It was done the very next day. The physical was passed, of course, because you already passed the physical with the Twins. It's that word that I can't say. Familiarity, you know what I mean?
Familiarity,
Familiarity, that's my favorite one.
Family, that. So it was, he's back. He's back with the Twins, back where, he said, if you want a product, you have to pay for it. Well, guess what? The Twins paid for it. And the Twins passed the physical that wasn't passed in other 2 cities. Now, like you said, Storms, they needed this. They needed a shortstop. They needed a bona fide starter, put ass in seats, like Kyle said earlier. And they also needed another player to match up with Bruxton. Bruxton is a bona fide superstar in center field. And now they got another player up the middle to join them. And, they should make a run for the division. They need a couple more pieces. They need more arms. But yeah, they have now a bona fide superstar, just like we talked about in another show. The Cubs have in Dansby Swanson, but we're going to get to that next. That players will flock because now this franchise has a face to it, and players will sign there now. And go ahead and hit on the call. It's important to the Twins that he signed there, right?
Yeah, it's super important. I think it was in our last show we talked about it. Like, if you want to compete in the postseason, you have a superstar player or superstar caliber player at the shortstop position, which is what we're seeing with the Astros now with the young buck. So you have to have that kind of a person, because that kind of a person will eventually bring more players in. Like you talked about, players will flock. And we're starting to see that with the Cubs. I don't know if this is trying to make you go into your transition here. But we're starting to see that with the Cubs. We're starting to get better. Every time you see a signing with the Cubs, you're like, man, now they just got better. They just keep getting better. Their lineup looks good when they picked up Dansby Swanson. So don't be surprised, when another shortstop gets picked up, that somebody goes to that location. Now, like you said, with the Twins needing maybe one or two more players, Correa is going to help in that situation with him being so young and having a lot of control over him. Now, and we talked about this in the group chat with Oreyes, they're trying to shop him around the batting champion, right? 300 average, 300 something average, 321 or something like that.
314, I think.
314. Thank you. Yeah, you're over 300 over the last couple of years. The 4 years you've been in the league, you've been right around 300. I think like 390 something was like his lowest, which is a good year for most players, but that's his low point. You know what I mean? Like, so I know they're trying to shop him around, and we talked about that. And one of the places that you guys have mentioned was New York, which makes a ton of sense because they want players that can get on base and hit it for average and not really strike out, because that's what they're trying to get back to after the last couple of years of failing, of just feast or famine at the plate. Now, I don't know if that were to happen, I don't know what kind of talent the Twins would be able to pull from the Yankees in order to do something like that. But having Correa there, I think, helps the situation of trying to at least get those players in, especially with this next coming year where there's a lot of big free agents coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're going to wait that long. I think that the Twins are going to try to make something happen before the All-Star break or right at the All-Star break. But I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to wait that long. They're going to try to get somebody and retain them.
So now, Storms, I want you to talk about how smart of a deal this was on the Twin side. Because like I said, it was a 6-year, $200 million contract, but he can get 7, 8, 9, and 10 years depending on his plate appearances the previous year. Like, for instance, for him to get a 7th year, he would have to make 575 plate appearances in year 6. For him to give 8 years, he would have to make 550. For him to get 9 years, 525, the 10th year, 502. How important is that for the Twins to put that in the contract?
Oh, I think it's really important, because if he's getting that many plate appearances, what does that mean? That means he's still effective enough that they're using him as an everyday player. And, these are going to be, I can't even remember how old he's going to be when that 7th year kicks in, if he gets there, 32.
I think you're right. Either 30. No, I think 34.
He's 26 now, right?
So you're right now.
7, I thought.
Okay. Well,
so yeah.
I mean, either way, though, that's these vesting options, these clauses are in there because, that's the point, that 32, 33 years old. That's the point where you start to see whether, how a player is going to age.
28.
And yeah, are you looking at someone, like Matt Carpenter, who's going to be effective until he's 40, or is he going to fall off a cliff after 33?
Mm-hmm.
So also, if he does trigger those additional years, the money goes way down. The first 6 years are, I think, 33.3, and then Year 7 would be $20 million. Year 8 is 15, or no, it's either 20, 15, 10, 5, or 25, 20, 15, 10. I think it's the latter. But either way, so if he's still playing well enough to be effective and to be deserving of an everyday spot, then they're going to be getting him at a bargain in those later years. So another crazy thing to me with this whole thing is he started out with a 13-year deal with 12 player options, and now he has no player options.
None.
Not a single one.
Yep.
So and that's the thing with these vesting years too. It's not a team option either. If he hits that number of plate appearances, his contract extends, whether whoever wants it or not.
Yep.
So, but I think this is a great contract for the Twins, and like Kyle hit on, like we've said before, this is going to be huge in terms of attracting free agent talent in the years to come.
Yep. With that being said, we're going to transition right into something that we told you guys was going to happen and and turned right around and happened about 2-3 weeks now, since we haven't done a show with the Cubs. Look at what happened with the Cubs and Dansby Swanson signing over there. Dansby Swanson wound up signing with the Cubs, obviously, and be their shortstop. And this was in mid-December, and he signed for a 7-year contract. And what did the Cubs do? They went ahead and signed Jameson Talon for 4 years, right? Which was right after Swanson. Then they re-upped on Drew Smiley for a 2-year contract. Tucker Barnhart went ahead and followed and is now their catcher over there. And not only that, they just recently signed Trey Mancini to a 2-year deal. So we are now looking at the Cubs that followed, the recipe: get a face, and everybody else will flock. You build it, and they will come. And so that's exactly what the Cubs are doing. And the Cubs are still young. The Cubs still have a lot of young pieces. Not saying they're going to be great. It takes time. But the Cubs are doing it in the right way by signing a face, just like the Twins have done with Correa. And now they are going to be a team that are going to win some ball games. And I think they're going to surprise some people. But anyway, we talked about this, Storms, and I'm going to kick it right back to you. This happens in baseball. When a player leaves an organization and he's a player that's well-liked, because Swanson is well-liked in baseball. A lot of people say he's the hardest working man in baseball, and they like his personality and his energy. And now he took it to Chicago, and people are flocking. We called it. It's happening. Go ahead and touch on it, bro.
I mean, you hear people say it all the time when talking about guys like this. It's just somebody you want to be around. Whether it's you're hoping the work ethic rubs off on you, or just anybody who's that good at the game is going to have a lot of knowledge and tips and things like that other players can learn from. But yeah, I think one of the most underrated signings of the offseason, we talk about the catcher position so much. Getting Tucker Barnhart in there, they're on the defensive side of the plate. There's not going to be much, if any, of a drop off, and that is not an easy feat to accomplish when you lose a catcher like Contreras. Mm-hmm. And I mean, obviously, I love the guy. He spent so many years as a Red, but I hate that he's in Chicago now. But
that was going to be my follow-up question as soon as you were done.
Oh yeah, it hurt. It hurt to see that. But But no, man, I think the future is bright for the Cubs. As much as I'd like for it not to be, but this is a team that's not gonna. They're not done. They're gonna add more at the deadline, and then they're gonna be active next off season. They may even make a run at Otani. So
I'm saying my bold prediction now. The Cubs are gonna win, I would say, about 88, 90 games this year. I truly believe it. I see it. I think the Cubs are going to win 90 games.
That's a tough
And
division.
It is a tough division, but I think
that is. I think that's their ceiling,
yeah.
and the floor. And I'm going to say this just because every now and then a team hits a real rough patch, and they'll lose 10, 12 games towards the end of the year. Floor for them is probably 75.
Yeah, right around.
I don't think that'll happen though. I think they'll be close to a 500 team.
I think it'll be right around 80.
That's right around where they were last year. They were 74 and 88.
Yeah.
But we didn't even mention two names that are there now. One followed Dansby Swanson, and the other signed right before him. They got Cody Bellinger in center field. The change of scenery for Cody Bellinger may do him hella good, and then he may sign a big contract elsewhere because remember, it's only a 1-year deal. Mm-hmm. And also, they have Eric Hosmer now at first base, which the Padres are still paying him. So
that 90 win ceiling, that was me assuming Cody Bellinger has a rebound year, not necessarily MVP level again, but I really do think the change of scenery will do him some good. I expect him to play better this year. But we'll see.
Yeah.
If they don't get any more out of him than LA was, then they'll be looking for a center fielder again next year probably.
Yeah.
Hey Trav, the left side of the Mets infield is looking kind of nice. I still like the young kid coming up. You got to worry about him. So I'm good. As long as the Mets didn't overpay for somebody that's going to be, ankle hurt in a couple of years, I'm all right. It was a business decision, sir. But Kyle, what you got to say about the Cubs, man? We were talking about this before we came on live a little bit.
So, like you said, the Cubs they got Swanson first. That was the biggest thing that they needed because Swanson attracts other talent, and then you got talent. Smiley, Bellinger, Mancini. Mancini was just recent. That was like what last week, I believe, or early this week. I think it was last week.
It was almost a week ago now, yeah.
Yeah, and Mancini, so before he went over, he got traded over to Houston. He was killing it for Baltimore, and he still pretty much did what he needed to do when he was in Houston. But I don't think he was as effective. But there was also a lot of other talent around him too, and it was more of a playoff push, depth kind of a thing. Barnhart was big, Boxberger's big. In the Hosmer deal, he got dropped by a couple of teams, but this is a team who needs a first baseman, and they're literally getting him for the league minimum, veteran minimum of $720,000. And you can't pass up on a bargain like that, especially that someone. He could have maybe a change of scenery does well for him because he could have maybe he has a 270 year, 280 year, and he gives you 20 dingers. That's still production, that, and he's not a terrible first baseman. So that gives everybody what they want. But even with him only being there for a year, that allows them to bridge the gap if they have somebody else in the minors that's almost ready, but not quite there. So there's a lot of 1-year contracts this offseason, but I could probably see 1 or 2 of them coming back for the following season. But it was huge. That Swanson was huge before all of the rest of the dominoes end up falling.
Yep. And you also gotta see and notice that these signings are big signings in a way because you're getting 4 different players that have now won the World Series.
Yep.
You're getting Trey Mancini, Dansby Swanson, Cody Bellinger, and Eric Hosmer. four players. That's your shortstop, center fielder, first baseman, and your possible DH to have won the World Series. And we always talk about this. You cannot beat somebody having that kind of not availability, but that kind of
Experience.
Yes, experience. Excuse me, I
Mhm.
lost the word. That the experience of a ball player to be been there, done that, and now not only that, two of the four players have something to prove. Eric Hosmer, the way he was let go from the Padres, then went on to his next team, what Boston he was just on,
Yep.
and now coming to a team where he's going to be the first baseman, and Cody Bellinger, where everybody basically wrote him off because of what happened there and the down years he was having, and they have something to prove. So I would say look out for the Cubs. That's all I'm saying. You know, when players are angry, they tend to play their best, or when they're playing for something or money. Look at Aaron Judge last year. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're going to have those type of years, but it happened.
But
Right.
you gotta look at it. You look at Bellinger too. Like he's playing for the rest of his career. Like if he doesn't do well this year, there's probably not a lot of other teams that are willing to look at him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
This has a very post-injury Yelich sort of feel to it.
Yes.
Yes.
Or, well, not so much Ryan Braun because he was under contract for so much money. But
And a lot of roids.
yeah.
I was gonna say, is this pre or post roids?
Yeah. But I think Bellinger, I think this is going to be his last shot. Like, hey, you got to prove it, or you're going to just be an every fourth day player because you're not hitting 300, you're not hitting 30 plus bombs, you're not stealing 25 bases. You play a good outfield, but we've already talked about in our previous shows, playing a good defense isn't what's getting you started anymore.
Yeah.
Hitting is what's starting now.
Yeah.
And he doesn't pitch, so he's really playing for the rest of his career at this point.
I hope he turns it around, man. Because
Yeah.
I would feel so bad for him. Imagine being a former MVP fourth outfielder.
Yeah.
Not only that, I mean, honestly, you know, I used to talk a lot of crap because he was with the Dodgers, but having a good Cody Bellinger on any baseball team.
Now he's not, so I'll be nice.
Yeah, so now he's not. Yeah, exactly. Having a good Cody Bellinger and the energy he brings to the field, man, and the defensive prowess that he has out there in center field is beautiful to see. And it's just something that you watch. And if he's able to turn it around and be the Cody Bellinger that he was earlier years with the Dodgers, I think it'll be the icing on the cake for the Cubs.
Right.
You know, because they took a chance on him and he turned it around. They might even extend him. Who knows?
Yep.
We'll see. But
I'll tell you what, man. If he doesn't turn it around with the bat, there is one team that he would still fit on perfectly would be the Rays.
The Rays?
They know. Excuse me. The Rays know how to work guys like that into their lineup. Like, I don't know. I feel like they had Kiermaier there for so long and made that work. They almost won a World Series.
That's true. That's very, very true.
Mm-hmm.
The Rays are just one team that find a way to win no matter who's there.
They plug and play their best players. If you're hitting that day at batting practice, you're playing.
Have one of those angel in the outfields kind of feel. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if I'd go that far.
If you want to hit, you'll put in Hemmerling.
So guys, I'm gonna leave this topic up to Kyle because Kyle is, as you guys know from watching us over the past couple of months, our World Baseball Series, World Baseball Classic, excuse me, fanatic guru and all that. So he's the one that's gonna be touching on this, but it's looking more and more like your man here is gonna be out there to watch the baseball classics with Kyle. So we're trying to, go live, get some interviews. Maybe me and Kyle were joking around. make a badge that says "I am the dish" and write the dish backwards.
Right, like one capital letter in the middle somewhere, and it just looks like a child wrote it.
So trying to, bring that to you guys. And Storms, man, we got to see if you're gonna make it out there, man. Hopefully you are, which would be fantastic. Have the crew out there since Ty is so close to where we're gonna be. But go ahead, man. Touch up on your World Baseball Classics. We got dates and everything,
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of caught me with my pants down. I'm trying to pull it all up right now. But let me talk about
Hold on. The dates or your pants? Relax.
what we try to run a family oriented show here, sir.
You don't have to tell us. We can't see that.
You don't even know if I'm wearing pants right now. Joke's on you. So we're looking at a couple different things. So I know a lot of these guys are going to start going in to the World Baseball Classic. They're going to report a little bit earlier than pitchers and catchers report, and they're going to start to get their work in so they can start, practicing. And then I know they're going to play a couple expedition games leading up to the World Baseball Classic, and then we start. What is on the? I want to say it's like the 19th or something. 18th, 19th, somewhere around there. But we're looking at a couple different teams. I don't know about you guys. I'm interested in seeing, because we're going to go see the USA pool. But I'm interested to see Team USA, for obvious reasons. But I'm also interested to see Team Canada. I don't know what it is. Because when I think about Canada, growing up in New England, I just think hockey. That's the first thing I think of. I don't think about baseball. But I don't know about you guys, but I also like watching the Little League World Series, and Team Canada coming out of Little League is usually pretty good. So I'm hoping to see. Has Freddie committed somewhere yet? Has he committed?
Freddie Freeman?
Yeah, Freddie Freeman.
I don't think so. I don't think he has.
Because I know there was rumbles about him playing for Team Canada, but I didn't know if that was official or not. But
really,
yeah. Again, I don't know. I heard those rumbles. I don't know if that's happening, but that was just one of those things.
Sports Illustrated, SI.com on January 14th. Freddie Freeman, who last played in 2017, will return to Team Canada for the 2023 World Baseball Classic.
All right. Well, that should be good. So we're looking at Pool A, right? This one's in Taiwan. You got Chinese Taipei, Netherlands, Cuba, Italy, Panama. Pool B, this is an interesting one. You got Japan, Korea, Australia, China, and the Czech. You got Pool C. Pool B was in Japan. Pool C is in Arizona. This is the one we're looking at. Team USA, Mexico, Colombia. If you guys haven't been watching, Colombia is having a lot of good players come out of Colombia nowadays. So that could be a very interesting watch. Mexico always has players coming in and out. They're always fun to watch too. And then Great Britain, right? A team that's another team coming out of Europe that we haven't really seen, but there are a lot of players going over there to play. And then you got Pool D, which is in Miami, one of the powerhouses, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic. Then you have Israel and Nicaragua, right? Nicaragua barely squeaked in, so did Israel. So those will be very interesting watches. And that all starts. Pool C and Pool D starts on 11 March. Pool B in Japan is 9 March. And then Pool A in Taiwan is 8 March. So we're coming up pretty quickly with that. And then I want to just touch real quick, crazy stat. Jorge Alfaro just got picked up by the Red Sox. Was the Dominican Winter League MVP, and he had 50 total bases in the playoffs. So let that sink in.
That's
That's a lot.
absurd.
That's a lot of bases.
That's
What do you
stupid.
guys? What are you guys thinking as far as World Baseball Classic?
I'm excited, man. Like we said when we first came on, and people, that start the live in the beginning, if they want to rewatch it, is that the World Baseball Classic we're gonna see true fans of the game. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be going there because tickets are 15, 20, $30 and let's go drink a beer, watch 3 innings and leave. No, it's
Yeah.
gonna be actual people repping their country, uh, you know, World Cup style, but for baseball. I'm excited, dude. Like I really, really am. Like I wanna I've never been well, I have been. I've been to like it was El Salvador, which is Guatemala here in DC. You know, and for World Series. Damn, I'm thinking about baseball too much. World Cup qualifiers, and it was fun. It was all great, but it ended in a 0-0 tie, which I was like, damn. The first soccer game I come to, it winds up being 0-0. But watching baseball on a country level, I think that's gonna be dope. Like I can't wait for that. I just love watching baseball and then having that combo with the country or going to see a team that represents the United States with all the superstars there, dude. That's gonna be another level. That's gonna be awesome. What do you think, Storms?
I'm always excited for the World Baseball Classic. Man. It's we don't even have to wait till spring training.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Like, give me all the baseball, and especially give me baseball in a different format.
Yep.
I mean, any baseball in a different format, I'm there.
This is about the time where you start like having those. Let me watch some baseball highlights because I miss baseball type of stuff. That we're around this time. Because baseball's so close, and you're like, let me get hyped up for the season. Let me watch some baseball, and now you got World Baseball Classics to where you can actually watch, root for your country or root for your favorite player, which I think is awesome. But
I'm gonna start watching games from the old WBCs.
You should watch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, man. If you haven't seen the highlights for the Dominican Winter League, it is wild right now. I know it just ended, but the highlights were insane.
Definitely got to watch that, Storms. But this is perfect. We've been almost about an hour. What are your closing thoughts, fellas, before we go? Go ahead, Kyle. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, it's great to be back, talking baseball and everything. I know, just like you guys, we're all excited for the season to kick back up and start ramping up. I think we'll start to see, like, as spring training happens and as we start to progress, I think we're going to start to see a couple more signings, not necessarily bigger names or big names in general, but I think we're going to start seeing more signings because we're going to start to see guys having injuries, guys getting demoted and all that other stuff. So we'll still have some transactions going through, not necessarily big transactions, but still stuff to keep us entertained until, the first pitch of the season. And it'd be nice to see. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're not starting late because of a lockout or whatever. So it's great for us baseball fans, I think.
Yes, sir. What do you got to say, Storms?
Just happy to be here. So I didn't get to do it at the beginning of the show. I had to get one in. So another thing that happened today, Aroldis Chapman signed with the Royals. I don't know if you guys touched on that earlier, but I just wanted to say, I'm not gonna lie, like, part of me is surprised he got another job.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Yeah.
Because it's like the talent's not the issue here. Talent's not the issue. Work ethic is not the issue. It's character flaws.
Yep.
And like don't forget about the domestic violence he had a few years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with the way he went out with the Yankees, I just didn't think he was going to get another shot. So I hope he turns it around. I hope he does well and is able to further his career with this second, third, fourth chance that he's getting.
Yeah.
But
Fifth, sixth, seventh.
right, probably last.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wanted to throw that in there. Yeah, let's. I guess that's all I got, man. I'm just happy to be back on here talking baseball again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, after a little hiatus, like I said in the beginning. So if you guys haven't, and you guys are joining us, no matter where in the world you are, we are on Facebook. Go join us, The Dish. You'll see us on there. You'll see us on IG. You see us on Twitter. You see us all over. Coming from Guru right here, Kyle up there, category. We'll see you guys next time. And join us on the next show next week.